Hi, I'm Erica Marie Wigley, and today's class is on letting go, transformation of life into gold. Knowing when to let go of what no longer serves a purpose is essential. Sometimes we stay in situations longer than we need to, and we stay there out of convenience or complacency. Now, that creates more pain in our life than it does joy. But why do we choose suffering? This is the direct result of living from a state of separateness. This seems so counterproductive to who we are and what we actually want, right? Or is pain what we've decided to choose? Unknowingly. Let's dig deeper to remove the blockages and shift the energy in an upward positive direction so we can actually live from a state of oneness as opposed to separateness. Now let's get it done. There are 10 big ideas that I'm going to show you that will free you from being stuck and release you into a life that you're actually wanting. Number 1, seek advice from the wise and the willing. Now this is really important because there are people that are actually wise but are not willing to share their wisdom. So the two go hand in hand. Determine which people in your life have been there, done that, so to speak, and are willing to guide you along the way. Seek advice from those who have gained the profound wisdom and understanding from life's lessons and are willing to share this divine wisdom with you. The goal is so that you don't have to stumble as much through life. Align yourself with those who can help you to see things from an illuminated perspective, if you will. This gives you a head start and prepares you with the tools needed in advance to handle any situation. If you don't know anyone like this, then I would suggest that you find a way. Open your network of friends to include those types of people where you can actually engage and learn from their tutelage. Now, a carpenter is skilled in creating things from wood. A physician is skilled in understanding the human body and how it works. So why would you go through life without getting the guidance and advice that you need to prepare you along the way? It's a quite simple understanding, yet oftentimes we don't do that. We stumble along the way without asking advice from those that have been there and have done that. So open yourself and include those types of people in your life. The second big idea is learn to trust your inner truth. Now, this truth is your inner guide. It's that intuitive nudge and knowing. It's that little voice that warns you and tells you what to do. You know that voice. If we're still enough, we can actually hear it. It takes practice. It takes practice. You don't actually develop it overnight. It's something that you need to work on. Now, Lao Tzu said, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. Now, what did he mean by that? At the center of your being, you have the answer. That center that he's referring to is the source of life. It's that intuitive nudge. It's that knowing. It's that inkling. It's that advice, that voice that's leading you in the direction that you're supposed to be in. Through constant practice, you can develop the quickening of recognizing this voice within. The best way to do this is quieting the mind through meditation and being still enough to hear the promptings within. We all have this ability. It is not exclusive for some and not for others. We must be dedicated to learning how to develop this connection within. It does require work, as I said before, but aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth it? The question is, the real question is, are you willing to do the work? If the answer is yes, then I can guarantee you that you'll get there. Now, the third big idea is release control and live with effortless ease. Holding on to grievances, thoughts of unforgiveness, and bad relationships are all acts of control that are destructive and not constructive. Anytime we lead our lives from the place of control, we allow fear to set in. This keeps us in a state of separateness where pain resides. Where pain resides in the state of separateness. It's when we feel alone and have to fight for a relationship that has gone awry, or a job in which our coworkers mistreated us, or don't really value us, don't respect us. And it's when we force those situations, wanting for it to continue to exist instead of letting it go, that we're not actually serving our best self. Releasing control allows God, this source, the universal intelligence power, to step in and lead the way. It's so much easier that way. Why force the process? Through force, there is tension. And once tension sets in, I can guarantee you that collapse will come next. Live with effortless ease. Life is not meant to be a struggle. Life was created for us to enjoy it. When we force things to be a certain way in life, we prevent the flow of life from occurring in its natural order. This stifles the process of life. And Oprah said it best: if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. That is the lesson, and that lesson alone will save you a whole lot of grief. Simple advice, but yet so true. Big advice, or big idea rather, number 4. Change your focus and increase the love. What you focus on increases. It's the law of attraction. Instead of paying attention to what isn't working in life, take that time to do something productive that will actually create the life that you want. For example, instead of going through the repetitive dramas of a relationship that devalues you, place that energy into leaving that relationship and seeking the understanding of what attracted you to that personality type. And then focus that energy into attracting what you actually want in a relationship. You first have to heal that part of yourself that it continues to attract the dramas within a relationship or within yourself. You have to heal that part of yourself through what I call self-love, so that you can attract someone that honors you, respects you, and loves you in the way that true love is meant to be. Now, the greater the love, the greater the probability. In other words, the greater the love, the greater the outcome. Love is the greatest generator in manifesting anything that you desire into existence. And love is always the answer. Where there is distress, fear, anger, sadness, depression, etc., all the feelings that are trapped into the state of separateness, there is lack of love in some area of your life. When you increase the love, you ease out all of those destructive feelings, thus leaving you, placing you in your position of power. Big idea number 5. Be courageous and take a leap of faith. It takes courage. It takes absolute courage to walk away from a relationship or a job that you're needing. It takes courage to stand your ground and speak your truth when it's not popular. Change can be very difficult. We all know that. Yet, when it's done correctly, it can yield very powerful and lasting effects. Now, step outside of your comfort zone and ask yourself, is the life that I'm living now one that I can be proud of? Have I given all that I've got to create the life that I desire? Everything we need or want is on the opposite side of fear. It takes courage in order to take that leap of faith. Complacency is what keeps you stuck. Now there's a saying, only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far they can go. Why not take the chance? Why not take the chance on yourself to see how far you can go? Be courageous, take that leap of faith, and step into the person that you really are. Remember, courage is what gives you the strength, and faith is what gives you the endurance. No one said that it would be easy. Yet, just put one foot in front of the other, one courageous foot in front of the other, and eventually you'll end up in the destination that you've always dreamed of. Courage gives you the strength, and faith gives you the endurance. Remember that. Number 6, big idea number 6, remove the hangnail. Now, have you ever had a hangnail that hurts every time you touch it? You know, I had one last week, and each time, unknowingly, I would continue to touch this hangnail and feel the pain, and I would continue to do it. And it just had me really ask myself the question, how often do we do this in life? How often do we continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, knowing that it's going to lead to pain? It seems so counterproductive to keep doing something that causes pain, right? But yet we do it anyway. It is when we live disconnected from life that we repeat the same painful situations over again. Think about the times you said you wouldn't do something, and then you turned around and did exactly what you said you wouldn't do. This occurs because we haven't let go of the habitual pattern that has dictated our life. Therefore, we continue to make the same mistakes while wishing for a different result. It seems like insanity. We continue to make the same mistakes while wishing for a different result. It's just not going to happen. Remove yourself completely from that which causes pain and suffering, and create a life pattern that serves your best self. So in essence, out with the old and in with the new, especially if the old isn't working. Big idea number 7. Forgiveness is the key to opening the heart. Unforgiveness blocks the love, the joy, and happiness from entering our life. There is no bliss that can enter into the state of separateness and disconnection. Unforgiveness is the cause of so many illnesses. It's like giving yourself a dose of poison each day, whether you're conscious of it or not. We're poisoning ourselves. Unforgiveness is something that has to be released. Once we let go of the painful situation or the person that causes us so much pain, there is a process of forgiveness that needs to take place. Essentially, you have to forgive the person in addition to forgiving yourself. There's an ancient Hawaiian forgiveness technique called Ho'oponopono. And years ago, I heard a story about Dr. Len practicing this technique in a mental hospital in Hawaii. The results were so profound that the word spread about this ancient healing technique on forgiveness. And of course, this technique wasn't anything new. It existed long before Dr. Len even came into existence into the world. Yet he applied this technique and saw miraculous results within the mental institution. Now, the word Ho'oponopono actually means to make right. And if you'll notice, Oponopono is repeated doubly, if you will. So you are increasing this power of making it right. You're doubly increasing this power of making it right. The purpose of this technique is to clear our perception of how we view others, thus giving us a cleaner perspective on life so we can actually attract the best. Essentially, we are cutting the connection to one another, cutting the connection rather to another person or situation in a loving way, okay? It involves a 4-part process, and you say the following. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. So let's say it's a relationship and you've experienced deep pain in this relationship. So you would speak the words and say, I'm sorry for harboring these feelings of resentment and anger towards this person. I realize that it's affecting me so deeply, and I have to release it. I'm sorry for being unkind to myself by harboring these feelings. Please forgive me. Please forgive me and release it from me. Release them from me so that I can actually live my life with vibrance again. And thank you for not judging me. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me and not judging me. And I love you. I love you. It's a 4-part process that is extremely powerful. It's something that I have applied in my life, and I can tell you that it has miraculous results. Now, the next 3 big ideas are what I call the sacred lab work. Okay? This is going to require work on your part, as all the other things that I've mentioned actually require as well. But this is going to be a little bit different. This is your sacred lab work. I want you to get a letter, a sheet of paper. And before I continue, big idea number 8, I'm so excited about it, is write a letter, date it, sign it, and burn it. Okay? Now, you're going to get a sheet of paper. Write down all the things you are letting go of and what new characteristic you will need in order to develop and strengthen your will. Once you remove and let go of anything, you must then fill the space with the trait you are wanting to become. This lends itself to who you will be now in the process. Next step, invoke a prayer that states what you are letting go of, and thank God, Source, Life, Universal Intelligence, for assisting you in purging it away from your life. Then, ask for assistance in developing this new trait that will strengthen you to propel your life on a higher dimension. So, you are leaving what doesn't serve your best self, the old self, and elevating to a new level, another level, the new self. Now close the prayer with a declaration by stating, "It is done." Once you have done this, and you state it is done, it's in the power of the almighty hands to handle it. No longer worry about it, no longer fret over it. You've released it into the universal intelligence, God's hands, to handle. Lastly, I want you to take that sheet of paper and strike a match and burn the letter in a safe place. As it burns, envision the removal of what you are letting go as it burns to nothingness. This frees you and leaves you to now open yourself to the new, empowering life that is about to emerge. Very powerful process. Now, big idea number 9 is cleanse and protect. Water is symbolic. It's symbolic for cleansing, it's symbolic for rebirth and renewal. If you ever paid attention to movies, there's always an act of symbolism in movies. And water is one of the main things that's used when a person is transforming their life. Pay attention. If you notice, let's say there's an actor, and an actor is thrown into water or decides to jump into the ocean. That water is symbolic for the next stage of their life. In that process or in that scene, one comes to the understanding that they are cleansed and washed away from the old, and that next scene or the next act within that movie, that person's life has now transformed. Okay? So water is extremely symbolic. Now, here's the process. Take a shower and mystically cleanse your being from the old things. Envision the old self, the things that you're desiring of letting go. being washed away as the water cascades down your body and into the drain. Wash yourself from head to toe. Hold the intention that you are now free and made anew. As you step out of the shower, you have entered the newness of self. Additionally, what I do is I apply a body oil called Plush Skin. It's actually an oil that has been in my family for years, and it's one in which is sold in Whole Foods. I apply this oil onto my entire body. These oils are blessed, they're eco-friendly, they provide nutritive benefits for the skin, and the scent itself can be used to remind you of the intention that you set for that moment or for that day. Envision yourself divinely protected with a sphere of light around you. This light is your godly protective shield from any attacks on the outside world. It also keeps you safe as you develop this new empowering characteristic or trait that will propel your life into action. As you apply the oils to your body, intend what it is that you need, and then affirm it into being. In this case, the intention is in cleansing yourself from the old, and the affirmation is that you receive the new empowering trait to ignite life upward and forward. So cleanse and protect. Okay, big idea number 10, the Bach flower remedy. Dr. Bach was a medical physician who was also gifted as a medical intuitive. He knew what flowers could be used for certain conditions and situations. And these are natural flower essences in a liquid form that are safe to use and available on the market. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it looks like this. To find out more information and which flower remedy actually assists in the letting go process, which really is the segment or the topic of discussion for today's class, you can go to bachflower.com. You can find the Bach flower remedy at Whole Foods. You can also find it at your local health food stores, or you can order it online. Now, I can speak from my own personal experience that it is quite effective. I've used it, and it is truly transformative. There's something magical about this remedy. I'm not forcing you to do it, but it would be great for you to go online and seek the information yourself and really educate yourself on who Dr. Bach is and what these flower remedies can actually do. It has been a pleasure to teach you this class today, and I'm really looking forward to our next class. We'll also continue the discussion on Oasis for today's class, so if there are any questions and more information that you need, you can find me on Oasis at Erica Marie Wigley. And I will see you there, and I will see you for our next class. It's been a pleasure.